Hello, Denver. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor.
Thank you all so much for being here. Delighted to get to join you. Thank you for joining us at this historic opening. I am joined by a number of incredible leaders who helped make this entire project possible. I'm delighted to get to be here and celebrate its completion. We all had a part in this, which is in the 2017 bond. We all voted for this specific project to be able to make this connection possible. And I just say there are a couple of things I'm very excited about today. One is, we know one of the great crown jewels of Denver is the Auraria campus. It is the place where I think the largest number of first-time college students in the city are educated. It is the greatest population of young people of color who are getting educated in higher ed in Colorado are housed right behind us. And we quite literally want to open up the door of opportunity for all of those students. We want to open up that door by bringing them right into downtown Denver. And so this connector finally helps bridge the thriving, vibrant community of the Auraria campus with the thriving, vibrant community of downtown in a way that makes it much easier for, as Councilman says, people to walk, bike, or roll any place that they want to. And so our estimate is that there will be 3,000 or 5,000 students a day who will come to and from this campus through this pedestrian walkway. And that means people that are walking, people that are biking, people that are rolling, which both makes it safer, makes it less impact on the climate, makes it better impact on our environment and our ecosystem, and provides safe paths for people to get to and from all the places they want to go. So we think this is not only a great opportunity for Auraria and for downtown, I think it's a great model for what we hope to do in places all around the city. So I'm delighted to be here. I'm going to give it over to a person who had far more to do with actually making this happen. Your amazing councilman from District 10, Councilman Chris Hines.
And of course, I actually, for the first time, prepared a presentation, and the mayor talked a fair amount of what I was going to say anyway. So thank you, Mayor. I guess that means it's really important, and so thank you, Mayor, for the introduction. My name is Chris Hines. I serve on City Council representing downtown and the Center City. It's amazing to see this transformation that has occurred along the stretch of Larimer Street. Like many of our roadways, it once prioritized the car. After all, the American dream was all about your own home, a white picket fence, and a car to get everywhere. Cars were even how we hung out on Friday nights, as in we got in our cars and cruised the strip. Well, Denver's values are changing, and this stretch of Larimer is an example of that change. What was all for cars now prioritizes people. Instead of several travel lanes for cars, there's just one. Instead of a small sidewalk, we have one that prioritizes the pedestrian experience, including lighting, specifically for pedestrians. And we also have a two-way protected bikeway with concrete curbs. This is what we need more of in our city, a broad and inviting pedestrian experience and cyclist experience, so we all feel safe getting from A to B, no matter how we choose to get there. It's safer for cars, so the drivers don't have to worry about hitting a cyclist, and it's definitely safer for cyclists and pedestrians too. Also, as someone who uses a wheelchair for mobility, I don't know if you noticed, it shows what our city means when it talks about accessibility and improving accessibility. After all, if I can get down the sidewalk and someone with a vision impairment can get down the sidewalk, everyone can. And it's our job as government to represent everyone, not just those convenient to represent. There's one other huge change happening here that the mayor already shared, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's part of my part of my script. The one other huge change here is, you see, the Auraria campus has the largest concentration of students anywhere in Colorado, and downtown has the largest concentration of businesses anywhere in Colorado, except they're separated by what seems like a huge moat. With projects like this, we're building bridges, literally, between the future leaders of our city, state, and country, and the businesses that will employ them. As the council member who represents downtown, and the council member some have called Mr. Downtown, I'm working hard to unlock that huge competitive advantage that we have here in Denver when we put those two groups together. Speaking of the Auraria campus, I want to recognize some of the representatives here today from the institutions of higher learning with us today. Dr. Marie DeSanctis, President of the Community College of Denver. Dr. Janine Davidson, President of the Metropolitan State University of Denver. Dr. Michelle Marks, Chancellor of the University of Colorado Denver. And for more on the campus experience, I'd love to welcome Colleen Walker, Chief Executive Officer of the Auraria Higher Education Center.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Hines. It is a great pleasure to be with all of you this morning. I was asked to share a little bit about the history of Auraria, because before there was a low doe, a low high, or a rhino, there was an Auraria. And the Larimer Street Bridge is a pivotal part of our history. It separated the very first settlement, Auraria, from Denver, the Denver City Company. And in fact, Auraria was the spot where businesses arm wrestled on what would become our capital city. And as we know, the ending of that story, Denver did indeed become the capital of Colorado, but it happened all right here. So the Larimer Street Bridge has been a real symbol of connection, of opportunity, of progress. And as Councilman Hines said, we educate more students on this side of the bridge, and we have more businesses on this side of the bridge. So the importance and perspective that this bridge brings to us is really pretty monumental. It's interesting, and I'm just going to use a little bit more history there, and I know our mayor is a big history buff, but post-World War II, there was a huge baby boom, as you might know. And in fact, the GI Bill for our veterans coming back, there was a 200% increase in attendees in college campuses across the state. Every single seat was taken. But in greater metropolitan Denver, we had two wonderful universities, one private, University of Denver, one parochial, Regis University, but we had no public higher ed. And that's when the state legislature came together and they formed the community college system. And the Community College of Denver was the very first community college in the state. CU Denver was our first research institution in our urban center city. And then MSU Denver was created as an open access regional university, and that created the now 38,000 students and 5,000 faculty and staff. But that was a pretty big deal. The reason I share it is because we created these three universities and there was no home. They were actually taking classes in 40 separate buildings in downtown. That's actually where MSU, the Roadrunners, get their mascot, because they were literally running across the road from class to class. But in 1976, Auraria became the site. And it did have quite a bit of history, because we had a 100-year working class neighborhood. We had German, European immigrants, Hispanics, Mexicans, Central and South Americans. We had 3 working Catholic churches in the Archdiocese on a small little footprint, and we had one of the oldest synagogues in the city. And so that transformation from a neighborhood to a college campus was not an easy one. And so really it is with deep gratitude to our original Aurarians and to our sacred ancestors and to the residents of Denver who continue to invest. They invest every day. It is our journey to continue to do that together. And this bridge symbolizes, and I love how Councilman says, whether you are walking, biking, or rolling, we are connecting to one another. So it is my great pleasure and honor to be with all of you this morning, and it is also my honor to introduce a good friend, Courtney Garrett, President and CEO of Downtown Denver Partnership. Okay, let's get a little energy here. How incredible is this? We've been watching, we've been talking, we've been pushing this forward since at least, I don't know how long. Definitely since I've been here. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here to cut the ribbon today. Colleen, I want to thank you for your steadfast commitment to connecting the Auraria campus with the heart and soul of our downtown. It's truly, truly incredible. This project is also such a premier example of the importance of connecting our neighborhoods. Our city center and our economy benefit when we are all better connected, when we're connecting with each other across these kinds of boundaries. And not only are we bridging the gap between spaces, but we're bridging the gap between people, giving students access to the core of downtown and giving our businesses access to the talent that exists in the 35,000 students just across the way. With this project, we're doing a lot of things, and we know this, right?
We're creating better access for pedestrians and cyclists. We're establishing a greater sense of place. I mean, don't you just feel that sense of place as we're standing here? Look behind you. Like, everybody look behind you for a moment. Like, that is incredible. We're standing on this bridge looking across into downtown. And then what you see when you look toward the campus, that connectivity. We're also allowing, again, those 35,000 students a safe way to come across to downtown. And I'll say, for us in downtown, coming across to the campus, really mending the city. So this bridge represents remarkable collaboration between Dottie and the community to bring life, to bring this bold design, and again, this walkability, rollability, and really enhance this part of our city. So with that, it is absolutely my pleasure to hand the mic over to Adam Phipps, the Executive Director of Dottie.
Thank you, Courtney. I'm going to let everybody in on a little secret. When you lead a transportation department, groundbreakings are exciting, but ribbon cuttings are satisfying because you know you got the job done and you know you delivered for the city. So I'm going to share some facts about the project with everybody and then do some thank yous, and we'll let you all explore all the amenities. So, in addition to making transportation improvements here on Larimer, we invested in other infrastructure as well, specifically green infrastructure. First, I want to thank the voters of the City and County of Denver by authorizing this project in the 2017 General Obligation Bond. It's a very important piece of infrastructure that keeps all people moving. Just some fun facts here. More than 1 million pounds of concrete girders make up the structure of this bridge. That's 11 different concrete sections that we had to close spear down to get into place, but a significant amount of infrastructure that you don't necessarily see on top. In addition to that complete rebuild, it will serve the people of Denver for many decades to come and ensure safety of those who travel on the Cherry Creek Trail below us. The green infrastructure that we added, new planters, you see these boxes all around us. These new planters will treat rainfall, treat runoff from the roadway. It will run it through a natural planting system and deliver clean water to Cherry Creek below us. So not only are we connecting people, but we're ensuring that we're stewarding our environment as well. But it's even better than just that water treatment. We see heat island effect in the city decrease when we see these planter installations here like you see on the bridge. But if you look around the city, you'll see a lot more green infrastructure being applied in other areas as well. Let's see. I also want to give a quick shout out to the team that helped us deliver this project. First, I want to start with our project manager, Steve Laudeman. Steve, where are you? Hiding in the back, but making the reality come to fruition. Our mayor and distinguished speakers today. Courtney, as you mentioned, this was a true partnership. This was a partnership between the downtown, it was a partnership between the campus, but a partnership between all of you, all of our stakeholders, everyone that used Denver's roadway. I want to thank Hammond Construction. Hammond, put your hand up. Don't get to say this on every single project, but we do on quite a few. On budget, on schedule delivery by Hammond Construction here, so thank you very much. I'd also like to thank a handful of our leaders within my department. Ryan Crum, Deb Turner, Matt McLaughlin, Chuck Hart, Jim Potter, and Jen Hillhouse, all part of the process, that life cycle pipeline to make a project come to reality. And lastly, I want to thank all of you. We recognize your advocacy back to the Elevate Denver Bond program, to working with us as we've disrupted your lives to get this ultimate infrastructure delivered for the city. So thank you to everybody, and with that, let's cut the ribbon.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.